Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Everyone nodded in deep agreement. Although Keiichi-san's problem might be his own dinner tonight rather than tomorrow's bento. Oh ho ho. Ha! How disappointing that you can't witness what an amazing dinner I'm going to make tonight. I'll let you have a glimpse of it in my bento tomorrow, so look forward to it. That is quite a lot of grandstanding. You do know what will happen if you come to us with something terrible, right? I just can't wait how much trouble you'll be in with Chie-sensei tomorrow, Satoko. Yes, I can't wait either. To see you, Keiichi-san, groveling before her and begging for forgiveness, saying it all with tears streaming down your face. Yes, I can see it, just now. What was that yank? Stretch. Both of us on the verge of tears. Pull on each other's cheeks. Stretch. Ahaha. Trying to muster all of your desperation by placing yourself in a predicament. Kei-chan, that's so manly. That isn't manly or anything of the sort. It's called being reckless. He can't even cook well. Stretch. Ahaha. Rena believes in you. I'm looking forward to your wonderful bento. I'm looking forward very much to saying keiichi tomorrow as well. Their expectant gazes were painful. I was just trying to tease Satoko a little. How did it come to this? Yeah, you'd better look forward to it. Ugh! How am I supposed to say such reckless things? I'm being so unreasonable. What the heck is going to happen to my dinner? And the bento showdown tomorrow? No, more importantly, if they make me say bad things about curry to Chie-sensei's face, what'll happen to me? The extreme contrast between my outward bravado and my internal screaming continued as the hot and humid June afternoon dragged on. That entire day, up until school was over, the whole time, my meal tonight and my bento tomorrow were the only things in my mind. And now that I thought about it, it made Mom seem amazing for planning 3 meals every day of the year. I've complained about having the same meal in a row once in a while, but now I know how rude that was. More importantly, what am I going to do about the punishment game tomorrow? Besides that, what am I going to eat tonight? Boo-hoo. Keiichi-kun? Keiichi-kun? Huh? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about stuff. About what to make tonight, or about the bento showdown tomorrow. She hit the mark and I couldn't find anything to say, and my facial expressions made obvious the fact that she hit the mark. For tomorrow's showdown, I think that if you do your best to make a bento, you'll be fine. There's nothing superior to a bento you tried really hard to make all by yourself. Tomorrow's showdown is one thing. But what about dinner tonight? I might suddenly get food poisoning. I couldn't make any more bluffs. I exaggeratedly dropped my shoulders and heaved a sigh from the bottom of my gut. Rena laughed in a shrill way when she saw me do that. Keiichi-kun, you don't have any confidence in your cooking at all, do you? So I've been found out. If it looks like you can't do it, no matter how hard you try, you can always give Rena a call. Really? But only if you try really hard first, okay? You can't rely on others without first struggling yourself. Rena seemed naive, but sometimes she was instructive. She didn't just spoil people unconditionally. Rena always seemed like an adult at these moments. If I absolutely can't do it, I'll call you. Though, the chances are extremely high. Go for it! Yay! You were grandstanding so much to Satoko-chan that you have to try your best. Hey, about Satoko. How good is she cooking? She's at least better than you. That was so direct. It hit me pretty hard. You were making fun of her a lot, too. Maybe you should have to struggle just a little? Huh? Giggle? Rena, you're pretty mean. Rena isn't all cute. All cute. Now, that I've provoked Satoko that much, I couldn't just make a crummy bento. I can't believe how loose-lipped I am. Okay, bye. Good luck. On the cooking, show everyone that you can do it if you really try. Yeah. I waved my hand absently in the response. Leaving me with words of encouragement and a few pieces of super beginner advice, Rena disappeared past the trees. Fine. I'm desperate, so what? I may not know the ABCs of navigation, and I have neither a sea chart nor a compass, but still, one idiot is taking on the ocean of great cooking age alone. And his name is Keiichi Maebara. Let's go. Time to cook. My enthusiasm is peerless. If energy and recklessness was all it took, I could take over the world. However, there are plenty of things in the world that can't be achieved with resolution alone, and cooking was probably the top contender. Therefore, even if it was hastily prepared knowledge, I wanted something to help me. I made up my mind and fished through the kitchen cabinets. I was on the hunt for a cookbook. My mom should have had a few of them. For a complete amateur like me, the first thing I needed was information. Just like he who would cross the ocean needed a compass. For me, a cookbook was absolutely indispensable. Oh, here's one. Its worn out, wrinkled cover makes me feel somehow reliable. Okay, as long as I've got this, well, it's easier to give it a shot than think about it, right? Anyone can concoct the tastes of a gourmet chef as long as they have a cookbook. Cookbooks are great, and as such optimistic thoughts filled my chest, I flipped through the pages. However, whoa. It played with technical terminology like toys. I just couldn't see how to actually make things. You knew it all along, Keiichi Maebara. If anyone can make delicious food just by reading a book, then there would be no such job as a gourmet chef in the first place. First off, it calls for 3 teaspoons, but which spoon is that? And it keeps saying to use however much you like. How much exactly are you supposed to use? Stop using such obscure expressions. Strain out the water in a colander, add salt and pepper to taste. What the heck is a colander? And strain it out? I mean, we can't exactly Google image search a fucking colander. Like stretching? You can't stretch water droplets like me. And besides, how much salt and pepper is supposed to be anyway? Aren't there any beginner-friendly guides in here? It won't do you any good to yell. Cool off, Keiichi Maebara. Think calmly. Calmly. For now, I'll leave the side dish until later. The rice is more important. Have to cook the rice or it can't start. I know a little bit about how to cook rice. I didn't cook it with my camping kit when camping all the time for nothing. I'll wash the rice. That should be enough water. And which switch is it? Is it this button? On the lamp turned on. Yeah, fully automatic rice cookers are one the 3 sacred treasures, after all. Now, pleased by the rice cooker set, I pulled myself together and decided to take on the miso soup next. The miso soup I made at day camp was all the instant kind, after all. Well, it would be fine if I just melted the miso into hot water, no doubt. I'll boil the water. Put in the miso. Huh? How much should I put in? Let's see here. Use the proper amount according to the number of people and your tastes. Enough with the vague expressions. Fine, then I'll put in the proper amount. I crushed the bag of miso with my fist and put half of its contents into the pot. What, was this really okay? Maybe this was a little too hearty. They do say miso soup is best when it tastes strong. Probably gonna be salty though. Come to think of it, my mom's miso soup is a little thin. Maybe I'll like it better like this with this much in it? I said it aloud as if trying to convince myself. Then convinced by my own words, I nodded to myself. Alright, the rice and the miso soup are probably fine. Next, the side dish. But what should I make? Something I could make that would add color to the meal. That's it, why don't I stir fry some vegetables? You can eat vegetables raw too, and they won't die just from a little bit of fire. I was so cute then. Not realizing the level of my thoughts had fallen from what would look great in a meal to what would be easy to make. There were quite a few vegetables in the refrigerator. What kind of vegetables go in a stir fry? Bean sprouts? Slices of pizza? Cabbage? Chives? Onions? A whole turkey? Can you put on cucumbers and lettuce in? I imagine lettuce would taste terrible, boiled. For now I grabbed a nearby cutting board, cut them into chunks, and tossed them into a wok. This has gotten pretty exciting. Is the true worth of men's cooking? Hey, this is actually getting kind of fun. All of a sudden there was a pile of vegetables in the wok. Alright, next is this glug 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 salad oil. It'd be more exciting if I filled it to the brim. You're gonna light the house on fire! Oops, a bit leaked out. Well, no point worrying about something so minor. Oh my god. The great keiichi Maebara's cooking is exciting! Okay, let's turn on the heat! Whip! Whoosh! The salad oil filling the wok to the brim caught fire, and flames reached up to the sky. Amazing! Maybe I could be an iron chef, too. What if I'm really good at cooking with fire? The words were spoken by delusion. I was saying something outrageously careless, but when the words came out, they sort of convinced me. Gah! Yes, I am an iron chef. Ow! Hot, 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 hot. Right, as the crazy pillar of flame started to burn the ceiling, I finally realized that the fabulous cooking before my eyes had culminated in an actually life-threatening disaster. Wait. What? Could I have been doing something insane? Never! That... The force of the flames grew stronger and stronger. Wait, what? What? Wait, could I... What in the world are you doing? You must stop the flames this instant. Kerthwack! Punch the fire! Somebody forcefully struck me in the back of the head. What? How did you guys get in my house? I mean, thank you for being here, but... Okay, we'll talk about this later. Get the fire extinguisher. I turned around to see what was going on. To my surprise, I saw Satoko and Rika-chan there. You know what? The best advice I think you can ever have in cooking is have a fire extinguisher. How do you properly make soup and stir-fry vegetables? You add fire extinguisher to taste. Satoko? Rika-chan? I am cooking by fire. How else will I have the best tasting miso? As I stood in wonder at their unexpected entrance, Satoko shoved me out of the way and turned off the gas. Then Rika-chan got a towel and soaked it in water and spread it out and placed it over the pot. She continued to soak more towels and put on a second and then a third. Once a whole bunch of piled on, the fire finally stopped. All of it had happened in a few moments. Having avoided a huge fire by a hair's breadth, the three of us gasped for air. Wait, what are you doing in my house? You're trespassing on private property. You should have waited till the walls burned down. Yes, well, Keiichi-san, you've been caught red-handed in the act of arson. I don't think it counts as arson if it's accidental. It was just about to turn into a huge building fire, wasn't it? Maybe. It would be very, very sad if Keiichi was homeless after this. Actually, to be fair, I wouldn't be homeless because I would have died in the fire. So you can't be homeless if you're dead. And after pretending to be an Iron Chef, I finally began to take in the situation. So that was really about to set the house on fire? Is that not obvious? Just look at it! The ceiling is all sooty, is it not? Chimneys are the only thing that should be sooty. Satoko was seriously mad at me. Maybe they saved my life. According to what they said, I was so absorbed in my fiery cooking that I hadn't noticed when Satoko and Rika-chan rang the doorbell, but they could tell someone was home, so they came in to check. Thank goodness they did. If Satoko and I hadn't come in, the fire engines would have been going wee right now. Do we even have fire department in Hinamizawa? Are you guys the fire department? Keiichi-san, do you understand how serious this was? Only you can prevent forest fires. At some point, I had sat down on my knees as I listened obediently. I'm sorry. You two saved my life. We thought we could come and see what a fabulous dinner you made, but as we thought, it's a mess. At this rate, we won't even need to look at your bento. Ugh, you're mean. So you and Rika-chan came all this way to see what I'd make for dinner? Us being mean saved your house and your life. Is that not something to take to heart? Yes. I'm sorry, Satoko-chan. At this point, having shown them such a disaster, I couldn't exactly make any more bluffs. I'd completely surrendered. And yet you tried really hard on the curry. Where did Keiichi-san from back then go? Jeez. Look, I had all my underclassmen help me back then, and just borrowed entire pots of the other teams. I didn't really cook anything. Keiichi-san, you cheated? Jeez, you might have been doing what our club usually does, but that was terrible. Pouring salt in other teams' pots seemed far more terrible to me. But Satoko was in control right now, so I couldn't respond. I obediently hanged my head to her. By the way, Keiichi-san, this is terrible pot. This wasn't supposed to be a miso soup, was it? Satoko stared at the pot, totally full of miso, with an awful expression. So I really did get the amount wrong? Judging by the look on Satoko's face out, whatever's in the pot couldn't be called miso anymore. Forget about miso soup, the rice should be cooked just fine. Rice cookers these days are pretty convenient. It should just be about done. Meep. It's not cooked. See, the inside's still all watery. Eh? What? But I switched it on and the light came on. Keiichi-san, the button you pushed was the timer button, okay? It's set for breakfast, so it won't turn on until tomorrow morning. Yeah. So then what? In the end, I don't have a side dish or miso soup or even rice. I couldn't make anything by myself. Oh ho ho. It serves you right. So, have you finally realized your place? Come, admit it. Say it. I, keiichi, am all bark and a much crummier cook than Satoko. Yeah. I'm a terrible person and crummier cook than Satoko. I beg your forgiveness. I fainted in agony. Rika-chan pat my head, satisfied with the sight. Satoko laughed loudly in triumph. I'm completely lost. In the end, I talked big but couldn't make a single dish adequately. This rate, I'll go without dinner. And tomorrow morning, no breakfast and no bento for lunch either. I didn't know how many days it would be before my parents returned, but at this rate, without a doubt, I'll starve to death. Meep. Of course, I'll have no bento tomorrow either. Meep. And I'm sure to get the punishment game tonight. Yeah. Meep. Rika-chan kept patting on my head with a smile on her face that couldn't possibly get any bigger. Satoko, completely appalled at how unsightly I looked, heaved a heavy sigh. Adult men are just so pathetic, aren't they? Come on, please, move yourself out of the way. As I sobbed like a girl, Satoko, displeased, brushed me aside, dumped the remains of miso soup into the sink, tidy, then began to rinse out the pot. Don't worry about it, Satoko. I can at least clean up after my own mess. I couldn't have Satoko clean up the cooking utensils I made a mess of. But when I tried to stop her, Rika-chan pulled at my clothes. Keiichi, you can just be silent and watch. She grinned as she said that. But be quiet and watch. What are you saying, Rika-chan? She meant just what she said. Keiichi-san, just be quiet and leave this to me. Satoko turned around and declared, seeming bothered, as if to say amateurs should keep their hands off. Her annoyed expression was a little scary. Leave what to you? Satoko didn't answer. Instead, she spun back around and began to rifle through the pots in the refrigerator. Hey, wait, don't mess with them too much. If you turn the place inside out, my mom might get mad at me later. What about burning down the fucking building? Would you just be quiet already? Men aren't supposed to enter the kitchen. Rika! Aye, aye, sir! Satoko snapped her fingers, and Rika-chan got on her tiptoes and grabbed me by the back of my neck and started dragging me away. Ah! Leaving Satoko alone in the kitchen, Rika-chan dragged me back to the living room. Hey, stop, Rika-chan! Let me go already! If we leave it to Satoko, the kitchen will be a disaster. That's true! Satoko did cook a wonderful dinner at the end of the second game that was really good, and neither of them got to eat it because, Mion murdered them to death. Everyone's like, really? Did you say that? Yes. She murdered them to death. At least the game is not graphic. It talks about a lot of graphic stuff, but you don't actually see it. Then again, I'm pretty sure if the things described in the game were actually displayed visually, I don't think they'd be allowed on YouTube. Satoko came to see how she beat you already. Heck, I think the game would probably get pulled from Steam. It's her revenge. Revenge? Come to think of it, her face looked kind of grim. Eventually from the kitchen there was the sound of a faucet being twisted and a stove dial being turned. I began to hear the nostalgic sounds that made me envision dinner time, the refrigerator opening and closing, ingredients being cut on the chopping board. What did that mean? Was she cooking? Keiichi made fun of her quite a lot. Satoko wanted to show you that she can cook proper meals too. Just listening to it like this. There haven't been any sounds of blood spilling or bursting or explosions. At this point, at least she's proven that she was a more skillful cook than me. And the cooking shutdown with Satoko Hojo versus Kaichimaru, it looked like the victory had already been decided. I recalled Satoko's slightly annoyed expression from before. I was making fun of Satoko too much today, wasn't I? Is she holding a grudge? We were just provoking each other with our usual back and forth, but I also think I may have overdid it. At the very least, I shouldn't have made fun of Satoko, who could cook for herself, when I'd never cooked other than for recreation before. Satoko isn't holding very much of a grudge. But she came all the way to my house and pushed her way in. She's gotta be mad. I quietly took a peek into the kitchen. She definitely looked different than the usual bird-brained Satoko. Her eyes were sharp, and her movements were brisk, to the point where it was a little scary. Then she must have noticed me because she turned around and shot me an annoyed glare. I cringed in fear and hastily pulled my head back out. She's mad. She's totally mad. How will she take revenge on me? That's just Satoko being serious because she doesn't want to fail. She isn't angry or anything. How can you say she isn't angry? I've never seen Satoko be this frightening. Keiichi-san, I can hear that, you know. Sorry. I jumped at Satoko's angry outburst and faced toward the kitchen. I felt exactly like a kid who had done something bad and gotten called to the teacher's lounge. Where do you keep the miso? It's down the sink now. The refrigerator is so big that I don't see it anywhere. I'm sorry, the miso is. It's in the middle shelf in the fridge at the back of the lower rack. What is this? You need to close the miso package after you finish with it. It's getting the inside of the refrigerator dirty, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sorry. Before I can look for something to wipe it with, Satoko wiped it off with a wet dish towel. I swear, how are men so bad at cleaning up after themselves? I shudder to think what you'll become an adult like this. I couldn't talk back to Satoko today. The only thing I could do was obediently lower my head and apologize. As Satoko nitpicked and I apologized, a good smell began to fill the kitchen. This is how you prepare the miso for the soup. You scoop out a little with a ladle and then break it up with chopsticks. It's important to add a little at a time and keep tasting it. Dumping the entire thing into the pot is absolutely outrageous. I'm sorry, I never paid attention in home ec class. You're pathetic. I swear. Men. Grumble, grumble. I cowered at her annoyed-sounding muttering. But looking at her like this, she seemed quite good at cooking. It had just been overshadowed by Rena's and Rika-chan's artistic abilities. Satoko's skills were clearly enough to get passing marks. Hey, if you have time to zone out like that, then you can go set the table. Rika and I will be eating too, so set 3 places. On it. I hastily took a 3 people's worth of dishes and such from the cabinets and headed to the dining room. When I returned there, I could hear laughter from a variety show on the television. Rika-chan was sprawled out on the couch, watching television and relaxing. When she noticed me putting the dishes out on the table, she came scampering up. Dinner time is soon. Dinner at Keiichi's house. Nipa! Rika-chan, you're in a good mood. That's a pretty big difference from Satoko. Satoko isn't in a bad mood at all. She's enjoying herself more than she has in a long time. Enjoying herself? Seriously? She's like how she was when her Nini was with her. It really has been a long time since I've seen Satoko look like she's having so much fun. Nini? What the heck is Nini? Is it a sound cats make? Nini means brother. Satoko's older brother. Satoko's older brother? He's named Satoshi. Haven't you heard his name before? Satoshi. Satoshi Hojo. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. At least he didn't go to our school. Satoshi, huh? Satoko's older brother? That's the first time I've heard of him. She had a brother, huh? I didn't know that. She does have one. Saying that, Rika-chan grinned even more brightly and went, Nipa! When Satoko was with Satoshi, she always looked like she was having fun, just like this. It really has been a long time since I've seen Satoko enjoying herself this much. However I looked at it, she seemed to be in a bad mood. But her good friend Rika-chan was saying that it was actually the opposite. Is she really enjoying herself? She must be remembering the time she spent with her Nini. It's nostalgic. Nostalgic, huh? Then does he live apart from Satoko? Maybe Satoko's older brother, Satoshi's actually a lot older than her? He must have gone off on his own, was living himself far away. Satoko seems like she's got along well with the Satoshi person. She did. The two of them got along very well. She spread her arms wide to demonstrate the width of how well they got along. According to Rika-chan, Satoko supported her docile, slightly unreliable older brother through nagging. That was their relationship. I see. That certainly applied to the current situation. We had me, unreliable, unable to cook even a single dish properly, and Satoko, who redid it while scolding me. Could Satoko have been getting a glimpse of her brother who now lived far away through me? So she would always nitpick whatever Satoshi did, but she firmly supported him and they got along well. Today she was the one. She suggested we should go to Keiichi's house. She said there's no way unreliable Keiichi-san could possibly make dinner. We need to go make it for him. Then, she didn't come here to get revenge or to get even or anything like that. She couldn't leave you all alone. Even now. Satoko is a proper little sister. I was an only child. I didn't know how it felt to have siblings. Of course, I've never had a little sister like Satoko. But I felt that in this moment, I was an older brother, obediently and helplessly being looked after by her. Without any teasing or messing around, I'm going to give thanks for her trouble. That's what I honestly thought. Keiichi-san, do you know where on earth the ladle is? Sorry. The ladle should be in the drawer to your right. I ran into the kitchen, got the ladle out of the drawer, and offered it to Satoko. It's all done. Have you put the bowls and things out? Yeah. Everything's A-OK. Then, let us have our meal. Rika, it's time for dinner. Me. I heard Rika-chan's effervescent voice coming from the dining room. Satoko turned off the gas flame and the stove and lifted up the pot of the miso soup. Could you bring the rice cooker, Keiichi-san? Be careful not to flip it over, alright? Right. I'll be careful. I can carry rice cookers just fine without being worried about it. I've thought about replying like that, but I decided not to. No mean words or witty retorts today. Rice with steam billowing from it and miso soup, as well as a handful of side dishes. On the table was a truly firm, family-oriented dinner. It wasn't weird at all or extravagant. It was a daily meal, the sort a housewife would make. It was very nonchalant and brimming with liveliness. Then let us eat. Thank you for the food. At Satoko's command, Rika-chan and I both thanked her in a loud voice. I made light of you, Satoko. You've beaten me soundly. Oh, do you have a better opinion of me now? I may not still be as good as Rika or Rena-san, but I can cook far better than the helpless Keiichi-san. Yeah, I know better now. After I honestly admitted my defeat, Satoko's expression finally softened, and she laughed with her normally loud and cheerful voice. Chomp chomp. Oh, the rice is cooked really well. Though she used the rice cooker, it tastes a little different from the rice my mom made. Maybe she used a different amount of water for it. Even so, I could feel Satoko's personality from the rice, which made it taste better than usual. The miso soup was a little on the thick side, but it was still delicious. The side dishes, while not exactly flashy, tasted great as well. It was all so appetizing and I couldn't stop eating. The side dishes are well done too. Satoko, you're not a bad cook at all. I gave my honest impression without a hint of sarcasm. Satoko seemed to have been expecting some, because when I praised her so honestly, she got flustered and said, Oh ho, your praise honors me, but it's nothing so grand. The side dishes are just things I bought at the store and heated up. This and this, all I did was open the can. I can only really make rice and miso soup myself. Satoko said, embarrassed, her face a bit flushed. I still appreciate all the effort you put into this, Satoko. Great job. Thank you. There was none of her normal verbal abuse or sarcasm in there either. I can't make anything except rice and miso soup, but when you get ready-made side dishes and put them on the table, it turns into something verily splendid. My mom uses ready-made side dishes and canned goods too. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. This is a fantastic dinner. I gave her honest praise. I've never met Satoko's brother, but Satoshi would probably praise her in the same way. Well, I suppose it's enough now that you've come to realize that I can hold my own in the kitchen. Well, I suppose it's enough now that you've come to realize that I can hold my own in the kitchen. Would you like seconds? There's plenty of miso soup still left, huh? Did that brat just awkwardly change the subject? Well, I realize my response has been on the mark. It made me a little happy. Well, when we eat rice like this, it's fun. Like we're eating with Satoshi. Rika-chan mentioned Satoko's older brother name again. Satoko's chopsticks paused, and she looked up at the ceiling. How nostalgic. I wonder what he could be doing right now. She had a faraway smile as if yearning for a friend who had moved away. From how it looked, I got the impression that she hadn't seen Satoshi in quite some time. Satoko realized I was giving her a blank stare. I do apologize. Satoshi is my Nini. No. My older brother. Okay, I see. Nini must have been a nickname only Satoko used for him. It was funny to see her hastily deny it. I was rather surprised a person with such few living skills had the ability to run away. Well, I'm sure he'll pack up shop at some point and return out of the blue. So he ran away? There was another story to what Satoko had said so cheerfully. The reason for Soshi not living with her was a little serious. Everyone had been talking about it in such an upbeat way, so I continued to talk about him. Should I not have broached the subject at all? I hastily took a look at Satoko's face after thinking that, but there was no trace of the gloomy expression I had been worried about. Well, he's not old enough to be dreaming of living on his own. Nini won't be able to do it for long anyway. He has no endurance. Satoshi may not look like it, but he's a very persevering person. He's a lot more persevering than you. Shouldn't that have had another letter E in there? Rika, you always take Nini's side right away. You're a little too nice to him. Satoko is just too harsh on Nini. You should treat him more kindly when he comes back. Satoko and Rika-chan's views regarding Nini, aka Satoshi, were parallel to each other, but I could easily tell that both of them really liked him. They were so optimistic, too, even though... Shouldn't they have been perpendicular? I don't know. Even though he had run away from them, it was like they were going to see him again next week. Satoko and Rika-chan both liked Satoshi even now, and waited for him, believing he would surely return. I've never met him, but I know for sure that this Satoshi person was a really good guy. I had thought Satoko would be deeply hurt by her brother running away, but she had already overcome that. But she was still being very energetic little sister, always full of vim and vigor, as if to say that her brother could come back at any time he liked. I thought that Satoko didn't think through anything, and just frolicked and played practical jokes every day, and that was it. But she was really... Yeah. Huh? Why are you patting my head? I roughly rubbed a hand through Satoko's hair. I misunderstood you, Satoko. I didn't know you were this level-headed. Satoko seemed to think I was making fun of her and tried to bat away my hand, but then she saw there was not even a trace of malice on my face, and obediently granted me her head. Yep, Satoko's level-headed. She sure is. I've been level-headed from the start. I was just playing pranks on you because you always do it to me. That was her usual provocation, but I decided not to buy into it today. You're right. You were just doing it to go along with me. But you really were so level-headed. Good for you. Is that actually a compliment? It kind of seems like you're making fun of me. I'm not trying to make fun of you at all. I'm seriously complimenting you, because if I was making fun of you, Rika-chan would be petting your head too. That's right, isn't it? When Rika makes fun of people, she usually pets their head. Meep. These canned sardines are delicious. Rika-chan went Nipa, and her smile became even brighter. Her attitude was clear as day, but it was annoyingly cute. So both Satoko and I suddenly burst into laughter. The laughter lightened up the table. The table itself was so dull and simple that I never even thought people could be laughing like this around it, and then